My name is Sister Anne Brookes, DO. I'm the CEO of the Tutwiler Clinic in Mississippi.
Why don't you sort of take it easy today?
All right.
All right. I'll turn you loose.
Okay.
I'm also a sister of the Holy Names of Jesus and Mary. I started DO school when I was 40, and I finished in 1982. To my way of thinking, the fact that Michigan State was accepting women, that there were a number of women in our class, we were 41 out of 125, which isn't really very much now. I'm sure there are more. But they were out to help the student. I felt that it was a very nourishing place, that they took whatever talents that you had and helped you polish them up, maybe helped you discover some you didn't know you had. What happened was, in my 4th year of studies in the DO school there, I took a month off to wander around and see. There were a couple things I wanted to know. One of them was, how, as a nun with a vow of poverty, how do I run a practice? I wandered down to Georgia, I went down to Louisiana, I went to Florida, to Immokalee, to the to the migrant clinic down there, came up to Mississippi. Mississippi is, always at the bottom of the barrel usually. We're always happy if Alabama got there first or Louisiana got there first, but it's a very needy state. And so when I got back up to Michigan, I wrote letters to the little towns in the area, and only one town answered me, and that was the town of Tutwiler. They didn't tell me they had a clinic building, and I didn't tell them I was a nun, so we were even. Tutwiler is a little town in the Delta in Mississippi. It is pretty much a failing town. They used to have 23 trains a day up to Memphis, but no longer. There's folks that come in there that have never really taken care of themselves because they don't understand what's the matter with them. And so we talk a lot about what you can do to help yourself be healthy. And what my basic premise is, I want these people to have power. I want them to have power for their health. Sometimes they don't want the power. Sometimes the power I want them to have, they're not willing to take on. Like responsibility for stopping smoking, for example, or responsibility for watching the fat in their diet. There's a racial thing involved here, I think. When I first started, I had to change the way that I examined a patient because I couldn't confront them and just look at them. I had to stand by the side because I didn't want them to be scared. So I would listen to their heart or their lungs from the side. One fellow told me one time when I asked him to take off his shirt so I could hear him breathe, he said, "Oh, doctor, I never had such a good examination." But I hadn't done anything. I hadn't listened to him yet. He didn't understand that. So just that simple act of asking somebody to let me put my stethoscope on their skin was a big deal. And as time has gone by, it's 27 years now, people look me straight in the eye and they tell me what they want to tell me. They tell me about myself too, so it's a good exchange. The fact that they trust me with their lives, with stuff that's private, with things that they probably wouldn't tell even members of their own family, that's a very special place to be. I try to listen a whole lot because most of the time people don't listen to others. Even our own ordinary society, we're busy talking, but we don't always listen. I try to figure out ways of helping them, and sometimes what we do, we provide medicine for patients, but we ask them to pay for it. We pay for part of it, pay for a little bit of it. We carry people to the doctor when they need to go to a specialist. We don't charge for that. We do charge for our clinic visits, and 68% of our patients don't have a way of paying us, so sometimes it's a little hard to get some money out of them, but we take squash, we take fish, we take work off the bill. There are unexpected benefits where someone will give us a hug sometime, bring us something. Back in the scriptures someplace in Matthew, now us Catholics, we're not good at doing verse and chapter, but there's a line someplace in Matthew, I think it's someplace in the 10th chapter, where he says, "Freely you have received, freely give." And there's that push in me to want to give and to dedicate my life to caring for patients so that they will care about themselves. And maybe my example of caring about them will help them to realize that they're important also to themselves and care enough to get better, to do what they're supposed to do to be healthy. A nun is somebody who tries to have a very close union with God. And a lot of ways to do that. One way is to serve God's people. One way is to listen to those who come to you, because God is waiting to work through you to help them feel better. And one of the things that happens to me in the evening when I'm sealing the charts in the computer, you know, you tell the computer to seal that chart, and it has to drag all the stuff from all these places. So it doesn't just do it instantly. And during that moment, I pray for the patient whose chart I'm sealing. I don't know how many doctors do that, but when you're a non-doctor, you find little reasons to pray for your patients.